but I am determined to put myself out there and to continue with the plan that I had all those years ago. So I hope you guys are eager for the ride and you are, happy for us to pick up where we left off. And yeah, let's have some fun. Let's get this beat, okay? Drum roll, please. Da, 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 da. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, Kwesi S. Oh my God. Listen, I know it's been a minute, and if you still have your notifications on from like 3 years ago or however long it's been since my last video, shout out to you. Drop a heart down below if you are coming here from literally 3 years ago, because one thing about this video, I'm not going to announce it on any platform. I'm really just looking to build a very organic space, a very relatable space, and a fun space, but it's guys, it's literally been years, and this whole video is going to be like a really bad kung fu movie, when like the voice is speaking but like the lips are not moving in the same way. Yeah, this whole thing finna be a voiceover, because I recorded the whole thing and then discovered that there was no audio in any of the clips. I was so upset because first of all, I dropped a lot of wisdom in my opinion, but mostly I was just speaking from the heart and my hopes for this channel. I'm literally doing this from my couch in my apartment, and I've always wanted to start my channel perfectly. I had to have this, I had to have that, and I realized that everything I needed, which was my skills and me, was right there and waiting to have the perfect setup and all of that. It might not actually happen, and it's why I've procrastinated coming back to this channel, because it's like I gotta have this and I gotta have that, and sometimes you just need to start from where you are. So I really just want to kind of relearn how to do my own makeup. In the last few years, I've been working a lot more with clients. I haven't really done a lot of glam myself. I've been off of social media consistently, and it's something I'm trying to pick up too. So I'd love for you guys to be a part of it. Just, let me know what you guys want to see. We're going to do all things glam, soft glam, full glam, colorful glam, everything. We are going to do it here, because a girl is also trying to figure out what kind of makeup they like, because I used to be very full glammy, very like colorful eyes, and of late I've done a more softer makeup. So to kick us off, I'm going to be going back to more of like the old way that I used to do my makeup, obviously with a better technique, but more of my bold style. So trigger warning, babies, trigger warning. This eyeshadow look we are doing today is not for beginners and it will get you a lot of attention. So if you're vibing with that, then stick around and it's going to be fun. Honestly, I'm just here to learn as much as you are. So some of the stuff that we're going to be doing is going to be very experimental, very new, and it might not necessarily be within my comfort zone, but we're all here to learn and catch up and get to know each other again. And so let's get into it. Okay, and we are kicking things off with skin prep. This is a vitamin C serum from Hyper Beauty. It's got vitamin E, it has hyaluronic acid, so it's extremely hydrating, which is very important. First of all, it's winter, but also every skin needs to be hydrated, whether you're oily or dry. It really doesn't matter, and it's never been more important for me to take care of my skin than at this time. A girl just turned 40, so I'm taking all I can in good skin years, and so far my 40s have been nothing but hormones, because look at the marks on my face. this cluster of like little breakouts. So annoying, and they're like small, but they're so painful. Like, I don't know what on earth is up with that, but yeah, my 40s is nothing but hormones at this point in time. So we're gonna do whatever it is that we need to do in order to get the skin to where it needs to be. And then this is what the serum actually looks like. I'm going to pick it up just now. There you go. This is what it looks like. And yeah, I like to apply that before my moisturizer primer type situation. So yeah, guys, I like to prime. Then that's my Julie Diamond super moisturizer, sorry, and also a MAC primer. It's got more of like a glow. This is like a cool toned one that I'm using in this one. I just like how it makes my skin look before I put foundation. Like, it makes my skin look very glowy, you know, and just really pretty. I really like it, and it's extremely hydrating. The super moisturizer I really like in winter. It sits really nicely on the skin. Not so much in summer. In summer I find it makes me sweat. I don't know why, but I find it a little bit maybe a little bit uncomfortable to wear in summer, but in winter we're good. Okay, so next we're prepping the brows. I'm just using a clear brow gel from, I can't remember what the name of the company is, but all the products I'm using here can be found at David Beauty Cosmetics. I'm going to link her in the video. I get all my makeup stuff from her. She's like my go-to girl. So I start by putting on the gel, and then once I've laid them in the direction that I want them to go, I then take a translucent powder, and you saw there I had my Mirac powder, and I just put a layer of it on top of the brow gel to set it, because I like a matte base for my brows. So there's many different ways to do your brows, guys. Literally, I'm going to be showing you all the ways that I do my my brows, from starting with brows first to starting with face first. I'm comfortable with anything and everything, really, but we're going to do all the different methods that I know and how to get a certain type of brow. Okay, so I like to work with, for today we're going to be working with a brow gel and a pencil. This is the Hair Guy and Esther Dip Brow Pomade in the shade Toffee. I use that to outline my brows, basically to create the shape. I use this very, very thin angled brush from Julie Diamond Cosmetics, which again you can get from David Beauty. You can find her on Instagram. So I use this little brush to get the shape that I want. So I use it to map out my shape. Also, it gives a nice definition to the brow, just in terms of like a clear definition, but not an overpowering definition. You know how in 2016, like, our brows were very like dark and just very intense? So now we're going for a more natural brow. Rather than covering the hair, we are letting the hair lead. So even when you lay your brows down with the brow pomade, you're going to lay them down in the shape that they're growing. So the ones at the front, they go up, they go straight up, and then they start to slant towards the outer part of the face. So the ones in the middle are kind of going mostly up, and then they turn only at the top, whereas the ones towards the end are almost straight down. All right, so we follow that shape even with the brow. So we create a nice shape with the dip brow, but because it's quite intense, I'm not going to use it to fill in the brow. I want a more natural filling out of my brow. So I've shaped both brows on either side, and then I'm going to be using my DD pencil in brown. I'm going to be using that to then fill out the brow using hair-like strokes. Okay, so whenever you're doing your brows, again, we're following the natural pattern of your brow hairs. So you know, towards the front, they go straight up and they are lighter towards the front, which is why even when we were doing 2016 eyebrows, you would still fade them at the front to mimic, you know, that shading that your hair naturally, no matter how thin your brows are. Okay, So if you look at my brows, I got microblading done a lot of years ago, and the one, it goes down, it arches down, it's fine, happy with that. But the other one kind of like flies off. So my brows are not even. So this is a great way for me to be able to map my brows and try and make them like sisters. Okay, so with this brow pencil, I'm going to start filling it in, okay, starting at the front, like more lighter strokes towards the front where the hair goes up, and then you're going to see the brow is going to get darker as I fill it in. And of course, you have to check now and then so that you don't make it too dark, okay? So you can hold that pencil however it works for you. I really like these micro brow pencils. It doesn't have to be the DD pencil. It can literally be whatever pencil you're comfortable working with. Just make sure that you pay attention to the gradient of coloring in your brow, that it goes from light to dark, because we are mimicking, okay? Mimicking and enhancing rather than completely covering, which is what we used to do, okay? So once you've identified your shape, you're then going to move on to concealer. So yeah, guys, it's been a while. I can't believe I'm actually going to be talking this entire voiceover. I've moved, I'm sure you know by now that I'm not full-time in Swaziland, but again, that's a story for another day in another video. For today, this is just me getting comfortable again in the space, and I'm so bummed that my videos had no audio whatsoever. Like, for some reason, talking over a video is so much more exhausting than the conversation, because you know, here you're trying to, it's like you're conversing with people, right? Because it's not one-sided. But like when you're doing the voiceover, it's very, very one-sided. And yeah, anyways, so you can see that I've filled in the brow, and look at the gradient at the front, right? And then I'm just using the pencil to join and make a more natural finish to that inner part, okay? And then I went off camera and I did my other brow, and now I'm going to use concealer to carve this brow, okay? For the carving, I'm using my Nubian Beauty concealer in the shade 44. Okay, I'm going to use this to carve my brows at the bottom and at the top. Okay, now for the purposes of like a clean, like as clean as possible, try and get a brush that's thin. Okay, like in terms of width, I don't know if I'm making sense. So it can be a bigger brush than this, but it must be thin, you know, like when you flip it to the side, it must be super, super thin. That way you can carve that brow, you know, to like, you know, to infinity. Like you can get a nice, clean cut. So remember that first line that I created with the dip brow and my angled brush? So I'm going right up close to the brow here, and it's like that line is going to be as thin as possible, and I'm just like refining now the shape that I laid down, okay? This concealer is not the same concealer that I'm going to be using to lay my eyeshadows. It is a lighter concealer. I like to use it under my eyes and my highlighting areas because I don't want it to be like too thick. But for the purposes of carving, I like something that's nice and thin, but sits not too quickly, you know, but it's not watery. I don't know if I'm making sense. So I then take like a little buffing brush just to smooth and blend that area out, okay? I did the same on the other side, and then I carved the brows from the top, so we have a nice defined arched brow. I love this brow. I love this brow. Okay, so I am using a Rimmel concealer here to sit as an eyeshadow base. Now, what I found is that for eyeshadow, if I'm going for a very dramatic eye that's going to use a lot of foundation, not a lot of foundation, but it's going to use a lot of pigmented eyeshadow, like it's not a soft glam, barely there kind of a look, I like to go for a very, very thick, creamy concealer, because it gives me like a very, very, not a thin, even layer, like the pigment payoff is like just it's unmatched, okay? And I love how this concealer blends. So it's a cheapie but a goodie. I love how it blends, and you just need to have a smooth, even base for your eyeshadow, okay? So once you've used, that's a Real Techniques brush that I'm using there. I think it's called a cheek brush. I think that's what it's called. So I use that to just fluff out my my concealer and make sure I've got a nice even base, okay? And then the eyeshadow. So the brush that I'm using is like it's like a compact brush, but not, I would have preferred to use something smaller, but because of late I've been doing looks that are like have softer contours, and I'm using bigger, fluffier brushes for the looks that I've been doing. I find that my brushes that I used to use, you know, when I was the girl that, you know, was doing this kind of makeup that we're doing today, I had a lot of these small compact brushes, and I realized I just don't have them anymore. But in any case, this one worked really well. So you want to lay the shape of your eyeshadow, okay, the shape that you want it to take. So you can see in the previously I had laid sort of a rounded shape, and then I decided to make it, to elongate it, okay, because I really wanted like a facelift. I just wanted the eyeshadow to pull my eyes up, so I changed the shape of it off screen, okay? So we are doing a sunset look today, and now I'm just adding in my orange. So you want to go right on that border, like where your eyeshadow ended before. Make sure that you didn't like blend it out. You want like a clean kind of like placement of the eyeshadow, and then now you're going to start blending in your eyeshadows, okay? So it's going to be orange, and then next we're going to do yellow. I'm using a very thin but fluffy brush, okay, because I kind of flipped it to the side and I was using it wide, not long. I hope that makes sense, okay? So because I'm going to be working on a very small area, I took this very small compact brush to do my yellow so that I could control where my eyeshadow goes. So again, I'm blending it where that orange ends, okay? I'm adding in my yellow right on the borders there, slowly just kind of patting it in. And that's what I do initially. So before you go into windshield wiper motion, you're going to start by patting on the color, okay? That's how you build your color. You pack it on, okay? You see those little movements of packing on the eyeshadow? It's intensified a little bit more in this clip, but you can see. So we're building a very warm sunset. I really wanted to go for a very, very warm one, even though it was going to be very dramatic, but I didn't want to use bright colors. I mean, I don't know how to explain it, but I wanted darker, warmer versions of the colors that I was using. Sunset, yes, but like just very, very warm, okay? And then you go back and forth using your different brushes and start to blend until you have like a seamless, fluffy kind of a blend, okay? And it's not just like, oh, this eyeshadow starts here, this one ends here. You know, you want your eyeshadows to marry, okay? So you can go back and forth between the eyeshadows as much as you need to and as many times as you want until your blend is satisfactory, okay? So there's no rules to how many times, and blending is 9/10 of the law with makeup, okay? And now I'm going back into the initial brown that I used. The brown that I used initially was the one from the Zulu palette from Juvia's Place. I love that brown. It's got a very orange undertone, but it had the warmth that I was looking for. Later on, you're going to see I'm going to deepen the brown. So I'm going to use a brown from the Jaclyn Hill Volume 1 palette. There's a brown there that I use to just deepen the brown. You can see I'm doing it for this eye. Look at the difference between the two sides. Can you see? On the left and on the right. So I've deepened it slightly, okay, because I wanted a better gradient of color, because I wanted the brown, but it wasn't as deep as I would have liked, okay? So next we are cutting our crease. I'm using that same brush that I used to carve my eyebrows and the same concealer that I used to cut my crease to the shape that I want. and then I just blend my concealer out a little bit, and then I use the brown to blend in to my concealer. Make sure that it is nice and even. If you want a clean cut crease, make sure you're using a concealer that sets nicely, like the Rimmel one that I used here. It'll give you a nice even base. It does not crack, and it holds pigment like crazy. Really, really holds pigment. I love it. So you're going to need a flat brush for this part, especially for the front part, because we are going for precision here, okay? So first of all, can I please apologize in advance for my atrocious mirror angles? I think the mirror was too big. I'm going to use something smaller next time, because so many shots that I had to cut out because I realized I was completely covering my face when I was doing the makeup, and you can see like my the light stands and stuff that are in front of me as I'm recording. But anyways, whatever. So the yellow that I'm using here is also from the Zulu palette. I love this yellow. Please look at how rich and warm it is. Like, I didn't want like a cool toned bright kind of a yellow. I really wanted like a warm, like a warm yellow, like a darker version of, I don't know, but this color is so beautiful. It will forever be one of my favorite yellows to work with. I don't know, like, it's just beautiful on my skin. I love it. And I use my little flat brush to, and take your time with this, to slowly place the pigment according to where I've cut my crease. Now remember, with your cut crease, that you are creating a new crease. So you're cutting well above where your natural crease sits. Okay, so this is a complete illusion. So I'm just packing on that eyeshadow, and you can take it, I'd say, about halfway, because we are going to start shading in the orange as well, in between the brown and the yellow. Okay, so next I'm using the orange from one of the P. Louise palettes. I think it was one of the first ones she came out with. It was very much a colorful palette. There's an orange there that is almost pastel, but like it's like a warm pastel. I don't know how to describe it, but it was a very soft orange. So that's the one I'm using. And then I'm just going in with my brown as well into the orange. So just like before with the shading at the top, you're going to go back and forth using your different brushes until you're satisfied with the blend, okay, in your eyeshadow. So for my wing liner, I am using my Younger Beauty Gelato black gel liner, and the angled brush, another angled brush, but it's similar to the one I used on my brows, to draw my liner. Now my eyes water a lot, and I found that when I used just a normal liquid liner, my eyes would water, and then like the liquid liner would go into my eyeshadow. Like, it used to annoy me in ways that I cannot explain to you. But since I started using this gel liner, I cannot be moved. It is black, like midnight black, and it is not affected by any eyeshadow, any glitter, anything. Like, when you put it down, it covers whatever is on there. So you need to be careful. But when I do my liner, I like to draw a line going straight down. So I first decide how thick it's going to be, and then I take it from like the end of my eyeshadow and I go straight down, and then I fill it in. Then I decide how long my wing is actually going to be and what diagonal it's going to take. Is it going up? Is it going like kind of straight-ish? Or is it going out and then up? Just like this one today, kind of went out and then up, because I'm trying to extend. Everything about what I'm doing today, you're going to see, I'm trying to give myself like a facelift, you know, but just using makeup and like the way I style my hair and stuff like that, okay? And then I connect the top of where I decided how long my line is going to be to join with that first part that I drew, okay? And now you can see it's almost like clearly defined. You can even leave it here if you want to, but I like to cover, because my eyelashes are so thin. I like to make sure that it's just like very, very covered. So I took it all the way to my inner corner, And I made the line very, very thin though, as you can see, and then I just connected it to the rest of the wing. And Bob's your uncle. Did it on the other side, and now I'm doing my foundation. So I used my Sylvie Mac foundation here, and I mixed it with a little bit of the Beauty by Ad. The Beauty by Ad 06 has an undertone that I really like on my skin, but I used a bit of Sylvie Mac, and I used the shade, oh my goodness, I cannot remember for the life of me right now. It's not Bamboo, it's the one after Bamboo. But in any case, I mix those two together, and I am a full coverage girl. Always have been, always will be. I am a full coverage girl. Like, skin finish, it's nice, it's cute, but for me personally, give me full coverage, okay? So I covered my whole face using a damp beauty blender, and look at how beautifully that just like melts into the skin, okay? And honestly, you can blend until you are just happy with the way that it looks. I blend until it looks airbrushed, okay? And then next I am contouring. I used the Blossom Makeup Concealer in the shade Cocoa, I believe. And it's not a deep contour, but it's nice. I just wanted to warm up the face just a little bit, okay? So everything about the way that we do makeup now is like soft contours. Like, yes, you're wearing makeup, but it must be pleasing to the eye. It must be well blended. So blend, 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 ladies. Blend until your arms hurt, okay? You cannot blend enough. Let us question where one begins and another ends, okay? So for concealer, I am using my Nuban Beauty concealers in the shade 42.5 and 44. So on my forehead, nose, and inner corner and my chin, I used 42.5. It is the lighter of the two shades, and it just brightens up my under eye very, very nicely. I love, love, love a bright under eye. If you've been following me on any of my other socials, you know I love a bright under eye, okay? And then I am going to then add the shade 44 on the rest of my under eye. Yet again, I am a full coverage girl. Do not come for me, okay? I apply my product. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not one of those girls that's like, oh, a drop here and a drop there. No, we are here to do makeup, and makeup is what we are going to have, okay? So I like to spray like just a hydrating setting spray before I blend my concealer. I feel like it just melts like butter, man. You know, like my skin warms it up nicely as I'm working on other areas. And yeah, I didn't do a cream blush this time around. I felt like I didn't want too much blush, so I'm gonna do just a powder version at the end. I'm going for a more bronzy, less blushy look on skin today. Okay, so I'm using the Fenty Beauty, I think it's called Bayan Girl. I could be wrong, I'm really not sure about the pronunciation. I'm using that to just warm up my skin in terms of like my contour, to set my contour. And then I am using my Blossom Makeup setting powders. I do believe that the shade I'm using to set my face is called, it's not called tan, it's called golden, okay? And then I am going to set my under eye with a powder puff. Please try this and tell me what your experience is. I promise you, when I set my under eyes with a powder puff like this, they do not crack, okay? So I start by setting them with a pressed powder, which I'm still using my Blossom Makeup palette here to set my under eye, and then I go in with a translucent powder. But because I'm not somebody that likes to overly bake, I just like to set my face. I like to do it last, and once I've set, I rub it off. I get rid of it, and oh baby, you know what, eyelashes are like the bra of makeup. They just lift everything up. Look at how it just changed like everything instantly. Like, So anyways, I left just the powder on my nose so that you could see how I set my nose contour. And I'm just applying a white liner under my eyes because I wanted a light waterline, but I wasn't sure which direction I was going. And then I took like my yellow eyeshadow that I was working with and I pressed that over the white, and baby, it did a thing. Okay, it looked so good. And then I took the brown and I went ahead and I framed the yellow waterline. And yeah, so I used both shades of brown to just kind of like smoke that out a little bit. And then I used a pigment, champagne gold pigment from MK Beauty. They do some gorgeous pigments, and yeah, this is the color champagne gold. So I used that just on my inner corner to, to complement that light waterline, but also just to tie into the whole color scheme with the eyes. But I really enjoyed doing this makeup. I have not done makeup this bold, this bright, this like defined in a very long time. So I'm highlighting with my Adventure palette. It's just a palette that has cream blushes and some highlighters, and I'm using the second and third lightest shades at the top, I believe, just all over my face because I wanted just a very light highlight. Okay, nothing crazy. And I use my V Beauty palette to for blush. I used an orange powder blush. Okay, so I'm using a DD lip pencil to just line my lips. Okay, I am going for just like a light ombre, you know that one, the one that all the girlies are doing. I'm really not a bright lip person. Occasionally I will wear color and it will almost always be red, but again, we are here to explore, so we are going to be playing around as well with lip combos to see what works, what doesn't. I think the psychology of being a girl with big lips and having attention drawn to them over the years, it's been annoying, so I generally don't gravitate towards color on my lips. I almost always do nude or gloss. Do you see how atrocious those angles are? I had my lips literally covered that entire time. Please, what is this? Anyways, we're gonna do better. There's a reason why the Lord took my audio, because of these atrocious angles. Okay, we're gonna be using the Blossom Makeup Lippies. They are matte finish, but I am gonna gloss over them. After that, I'm using the shade Chocolate and Latte. So I'm gonna line the lips with this, with the brown, and then I add in the more nudie color. And I didn't wipe my lips because I didn't want it drying matte. I wanted it to be easy to blend, so I left the product that I had on my lips before. And then I'm just using a very light concealer to just make it a little bit lighter in the center, which you can do. If you don't have a very light lippy, you can use concealer. And I'm taking a darker DD lip pencil and I'm just re-emphasizing that line. I felt like I lost the brown on the outer corner. So I added gloss and I am just using setting spray. Now this is the end. We are done. Oof, that liner. Sharp. Okay. So I like to seal off my makeup with the So Pro spray. It's literally like a holding spray. This spray will keep your makeup intact for the whole day. Literally after you apply it, you can feel it, like you can feel your face setting and holding. Whew, baby. So I was just removing, I wasn't really sure what I was going to do with the curls at this point. Like I had installed this frontal pony for the first time, and my hair is like super short, guys. My hair is like so short. But shout out to these girls on TikTok that taught me how to style my super short hair. And I tried it with this frontal, but like I went off camera to see what I could do with it, and it kind of ate, you know. We were still with the theme of a facelift, and like I was in front of the mirror and I put the hair up and I was like, oh, okay, I can definitely vibe with that. It was literally, I just took the curls, put them into a messy bun, and it just somehow worked out. So yeah, this is how I decided to come back to YouTube. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this video. It didn't turn out the way that I expected, and if you made it this far, all the kisses for you, baby, and shout out to you. Thank you so much for staying to this far in the video. Damn, a girl can talk, hey? But really what I'm hoping for this channel is that we are gonna grow together, we are gonna do a lot together, and you guys have all the permission to hold me accountable and just be like, yo, we want content. I definitely don't want to sleep on myself anymore, and I feel like I've got so much to offer, you know, in terms of what I can teach and what I can show you guys. And yeah, like the girls are slaying this year, okay? The girls are slaying. So yeah, guys, like a moment of silence for this look. Like, what? What? Yeah, no, I'm so proud of myself. You know, just before I go off, I'm really proud of myself. I have procrastinated about coming back to YouTube for so long, because when I think about the amount of work that is actually involved, it makes me want to cry, especially given my responsibilities as they stand right now. But I am determined to put myself out there and to continue with the plan that I had all those years ago. So I hope you guys are eager for the ride, and you are, you know, happy for us to pick up where we left off. And yeah, let's have some fun. Let's get this beat, okay? Let us slay. Let us, yeah, a girl's girl. Anyways, in conclusion, wow, I'm happy to be back. I hope you are happy to have me back. Asikhuleni, asimekapeni, guys. Asibe bahle, ngiyanithanda. Like, comment, subscribe, and all the good things. And follow me.